Your bob haircut might be making you look older, and you may not even realize it. Hello, my beautiful friends. If you are a woman over 50 living here in the US, I want to ask you something from the heart. Have you ever gone to the salon, asked for a chic bob, hoping to walk out looking younger and fresher, only to catch your reflection later and think, why do I look older than before? The bob has been called timeless for a reason. It is elegant, versatile, and has been worn by some of the most stylish women in history. But here is the truth no one tells you when you are sitting in that salon chair. Not every bob is created equal. Sometimes the smallest detail in the cut or style can quietly steal years from your face instead of giving them back. I know this because I have been there myself. Over the years, I have worn almost every variation of the bob you can imagine, from sleek and sharp to soft and layered. Some made me feel confident and radiant. Others left me avoiding photographs for a while. Through my own experiences and the transformations I have seen in other women, I have learned exactly what makes the difference. In today's video, I am going to share the 7 most common bob mistakes I see women over 50 make, and more importantly, how to fix them. You will hear real examples, practical tips, and personal stories that you will not find anywhere else. And if you stay with me until the end, I will reveal a simple, often overlooked change that can completely transform your bob. It is something most stylists never mention, yet it can change the way you feel every time you look in the mirror. Mistake number 1, going too dark with your bob. I still remember my 55th birthday like it was yesterday. I wanted to give myself a little makeover, something that would make me feel youthful and sophisticated at the same time. So, I went back to the deep, rich brown I used to wear in my 30s. In my mind, it was the perfect choice. It would make me look polished, confident, maybe even a little glamorous. But just a few days later, the comments started rolling in. People would tilt their heads, give me that concerned smile, and say, "Are you feeling okay? You look tired." Have you ever had that moment when you think you've made an upgrade to your appearance only to realize everyone else sees the opposite? The truth is that very dark hair, like jet black or espresso brown, creates a sharp contrast against skin that naturally loses pigment with age. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, women over 50 produce about 10 to 20% less melanin in their skin compared to their 30s. That means our complexions can look lighter and less vibrant. When you put a solid, dark frame right next to that softer skin tone, every fine line, shadow, and dark spot suddenly stands out. And here in the US, daylight is often unforgiving. Whether you're walking under the bright California sun or spending a crisp afternoon in Colorado's high altitude, that intense light can cast harsh shadows on the face when your hair color is too dark. Instead of looking fresh and youthful, the effect can be more severe, even a bit aging. The solution is to soften things up. Shades like light chocolate, caramel, honey blonde, or even a few warm golden highlights can reflect light beautifully, warming up the skin and giving it a healthy glow. In fact, research from the Clairol Color Institute found that women who lighten their hair by just 2 to 3 shades are often perceived as looking 5 to 7 years younger. I know it works because I tried it myself. After switching to a warm caramel with subtle golden tones, the tired comments stopped. In their place came compliments like, "You look so refreshed," and "You're glowing," and honestly, I felt it too. Every morning, when I caught my reflection in the mirror, I looked brighter, more energized, and more like the version of myself I wanted the world to see. If you're thinking about a change, ask yourself this: does my current hair color make my skin look brighter? Does it bring out my eyes? Or is it quietly highlighting the very things I'd rather play down? Hair color is one of the easiest and most powerful tools you have to change how others see you. and it takes far less effort than you might think. And trust me, hair color is just the beginning. There's something else that can have an even bigger impact on how youthful you look, and I can't wait to share it. Mistake number 2, sticking with a heavy one-length bob. When I first turned 50, I decided to keep things simple. A neat, one-length bob seemed like the perfect low-maintenance style. No layers to fuss with, no complicated styling routines. Just a clean, even cut that I could wash, dry, and go. And for a while, I thought it was working. But then I started noticing something in my photos. Every time I smiled, it felt like my face looked heavier, almost like the weight of my hair was pulling everything downward. Have you ever looked at a picture of yourself and thought, why do I look so tired, even when you feel perfectly fine? A heavy, one-length bob may be easy to maintain, but it comes with a cost. Without layers to create movement, the hair forms a solid curtain around your face. This can draw attention to areas that naturally change with age, such as a softer jawline or slight fullness under the chin. According to a 2022 survey by the Professional Beauty Association, over 68% of women over 50 reported that they preferred hairstyles that added lift and volume. Yet many still wore cuts that did the opposite. The lack of shape at the crown and sides means your haircut is not working to visually lift your features, and instead it can make the lower half of your face more prominent. The good news is that the fix is simple and does not require giving up on the bob you love. Adding internal layering can remove weight from inside the haircut without changing the overall silhouette. A slight bevel at the ends allows the hair to curve inward and follow your natural bone structure, giving the illusion of fullness without the bulk. And a few soft face-framing layers can open up your features, draw attention to your eyes, and add just enough movement to keep things light and fresh. When I finally decided to make the change, I asked my stylist to add subtle layers around my cheekbones and a touch of bevel at the ends. The difference was instant. My face looked brighter, my jawline appeared more defined, and I actually got compliments from friends who couldn't quite pinpoint what was different. They just knew I looked more awake and lifted. Sometimes it's the smallest adjustments that make the biggest impact. If you are wearing a one-length bob right now, take a moment to ask yourself, is my haircut adding to my look, or is it quietly working against me? Does it move when I move, or does it sit like a heavy frame around my face? And remember, the way your hair is cut can change not only how you look, but also how you feel. The right tweak can transform a style from flat and aging to lively and flattering. And as we move forward, there's another common bob mistake that is just as sneaky, yet even more surprising in how much it can age you without you realizing it. Mistake number 3, ignoring root volume. I cannot tell you how many mornings I have looked in the mirror, liked my outfit, felt good about my makeup, and then realized my hair was lying completely flat against my head. Instantly, I looked more tired, almost as if the life had been drained from my face. Have you ever had that happen to you? The truth is, when your bob has no lift at the roots, it can make your facial features appear pulled downward, which adds years to your look. Flat hair does more than just lack style. It actually changes how light and shadow play on your face. According to a 2021 study published in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology, hairstyles with more volume at the crown create a visual lifting effect, drawing the eye upward and making facial contours appear more youthful. In contrast, hair that lies too close to the scalp can emphasize areas we would rather soften, such as fine lines around the mouth or slight sagging along the jawline. The fix for this is surprisingly easy and doesn't require a trip to the salon every week. Start by asking your stylist for light layering at the crown. This creates space within the hair so it naturally lifts instead of collapsing under its own weight. At home, use a round brush and a blow dryer to lift the hair at the roots, directing the airflow upward and away from the scalp. If you want extra hold, apply a volumizing spray or mousse before drying. According to hairstylists at the Professional Beauty Association, women who incorporate volumizing products into their daily routine are 40% more likely to report feeling confident in their hairstyle throughout the day. I discovered this trick in my late 50s when I was preparing for a friend's retirement party. I had no time for a full salon appointment, so I simply grabbed my large round brush, flipped my head upside down, and blow-dried my hair for a few minutes. When I looked in the mirror afterward, I was shocked at the difference. My face looked more awake, my cheekbones stood out, and I didn't even feel the need to put on as much makeup. That little bit of volume lasted the entire day and completely changed how I carried myself. If your bob is falling flat right now, ask yourself, is my hair helping to lift my face, or is it quietly pulling my look down? Am I making the most of the styling tools and products available to me? Adding root volume is one of the simplest yet most transformative changes you can make to your hairstyle. It requires minimal effort, but the payoff in terms of freshness and youthfulness is huge. And just when you think volume might be the only hidden factor, there's another styling choice that can affect your overall look even more than you might expect. Mistake number 4. Wearing a reverse bob, longer in the back, shorter in the front. When I was 48, I saw a photo spread in a fashion magazine featuring a gorgeous reverse bob. The cut was dramatic, modern, and full of attitude. I booked a salon appointment that very week, thinking I was about to step into a whole new, stylish version of myself, and for the first few days, I loved it. But not long after, I began to notice something strange. My neck looked shorter in photos, my shoulders seemed broader, and the overall shape felt a little off. Have you ever tried a trend that looked great on someone else, only to realize it just didn't work for you? The issue with a reverse bob is how it directs attention. Because the longest part of the cut sits low at the back of your head, the eye is naturally drawn downward. This not only shortens the appearance of your neck, but can also make your posture look less graceful. In a country like the US, where style photography and candid snapshots are everywhere, that downward pull in pictures is something you notice quickly. And as time passes, the imbalance becomes even more obvious. The front sections often lose their clean angle faster than the back, leaving you with a cut that looks uneven and heavy. There's also the matter of style longevity. According to a 2021 survey by Modern Salon, angled and asymmetrical bobs require trims every 4 to 6 weeks to maintain their shape, and over 60% of clients reported frustration with how quickly these styles lost their precision. That means more time and money spent on upkeep, which is something many of us prefer to avoid. When I finally decided to let go of the reverse bob, I asked my stylist for a soft, forward-angled bob instead. The back was slightly shorter, and the front gradually lengthened toward my chin, following my jawline. This change lifted the entire look. My neck instantly appeared longer, and the cut framed my face in a much more flattering way. The softer angle also gave my hair a light, flowing movement that felt more youthful and less rigid. If you're currently wearing a reverse bob, it's worth asking yourself, does this cut lift my features, or is it subtly pulling everything downward? Do I enjoy the upkeep it requires, or is it starting to feel like a chore? Choosing a more balanced, forward-angled bob can give you elegance, modernity, and ease of styling without the visual drawbacks. It's a change that doesn't just refresh your hairstyle, it reshapes the way people see your face and profile. And speaking of balance, there's another haircut choice that often disrupts harmony in a way most women don't expect, and that's something we need to talk about next. Mistake number 5. Not considering your hairstyle when you wear glasses. If you wear glasses every day, whether for reading or distance, you already know how much they influence your overall look. But have you ever stopped to think about how your haircut interacts with your frames? For years, I didn't. I simply chose hairstyles I liked in photos without considering how my glasses would fit into the picture. One of my biggest mistakes was cutting my bob so that it hugged my cheeks tightly. At first, I thought it framed my face beautifully, but in reality, my glasses kept catching on the hair around my temples, creating little bends and flyaways that drove me crazy. And on top of that, it made my face look visually crowded, like everything from my eyes down to my jaw was hidden behind a wall of hair and frames. When hair sits too close to the cheeks and temples, it can visually narrow your face in the wrong way. This creates a boxed-in effect, and combined with glasses, it can make your features look heavier and older. According to the Vision Council, about 64% of American adults wear glasses, and for women over 50, the number climbs even higher. That means for many of us, how our hair works with our frames is not just a style preference, it is a daily reality. The solution is surprisingly simple but makes a huge difference. Ask your stylist to lightly thin out the hair around your temples and upper cheeks, blending it with soft, face-framing layers. This opens up the area around your eyes, allowing your frames to sit naturally without interference. It also creates breathing room between your glasses and your hair, giving your look a lighter, more youthful balance. I learned this lesson after years of frustration. Because I read every day, my glasses were on my face more often than not. I remember one morning getting ready to meet friends for brunch. I put on my glasses and they immediately snagged in my hair. I had to stop, detangle, smooth it out again. And by the time I walked out the door, I was already annoyed. The first time my stylist adjusted my bob to leave a small gap around my temples, it was a game changer. No more snagging, no more messy bends, and suddenly my face looked more open and refreshed. If you wear glasses, ask yourself, does my haircut work with my frames, or is it constantly competing with them? Does my hair complement my eyes and smile, or does it feel like an extra barrier between me and the world? Making this small adjustment can not only make your daily routine easier, but also improve the harmony between your hair, your glasses, and your facial features. And once you start thinking about harmony in your haircut, you'll begin to notice other subtle imbalances that could be making a bigger difference than you realize. Mistake number 6, layering only in the back and leaving the front heavy. When I first started wearing a bob, I believed keeping the front pieces heavy would help cover my fuller cheeks. I thought it was a clever trick to make my face look slimmer. But instead of hiding anything, it actually did the opposite. All that weight in the front drew even more attention to my cheeks and jawline. Have you ever tried to disguise a feature, only to realize you've made it the star of the show? A flat front bob places most of the weight right where you don't want it, especially as we age. Without layering in the front, the hair can hang stiffly and make the lower half of your face appear wider and rounder. According to a 2020 report from the Professional Beauty Association, 72% of stylists said that balance between the front and back is key for flattering a mature face shape. Without that balance, your haircut can look like two separate styles: a light, layered back, and a heavy, static front. The solution is to bring some of that movement and lightness forward. Soft layers that start around the cheekbone and blend down toward the chin can open up your face and lift your features. Internal layering, where the weight is subtly reduced from within the hair, helps avoid that helmet-like effect while still keeping the fullness you might want. This approach connects the back and front seamlessly, giving your bob a cohesive, flattering shape. I finally learned this after years of clinging to my full front look. One day, while going through old photos, I noticed something. In every picture, my face looked closed off and heavy, no matter how nice my makeup or outfit was. So, I took a leap and asked my stylist to add gentle layers in the front. The change was immediate. My friends started saying things like, "You look so much fresher," and "You've really lifted your look." And the best part? My hair started to move again. It flowed naturally instead of sitting flat against my cheeks. If you currently have a bob, take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, Does the front of my hair add lightness to my face, or is it weighing it down? Does it frame my smile, or hide it? Adjusting the balance between the front and back of your haircut can completely transform how it works with your features. It's a subtle change, but one that can make you look years younger and far more vibrant. And speaking of subtle changes, there's another one that people often overlook, yet it can have an even more dramatic effect on your overall style. Mistake number 7, choosing a bob length that doesn't match your body proportions. One thing I learned the hard way is that the right bob length is not just about face shape. It is also about how it works with your body proportions. The length of your hair can either complement your height and frame or throw everything off balance. Have you ever seen a photo of yourself and thought, "Why do I look shorter than I really am?" That was exactly my reaction a few years ago. The wrong bob length can unintentionally age you by disrupting the harmony between your hairstyle and your body. For example, a longer bob that falls past the shoulders on a petite woman can make her appear even shorter, while a very short bob on a tall woman can elongate the neck too much, creating a top-heavy effect. According to data from the American Salon Industry Report, over 60% of women who were unhappy with their haircut length cited proportion issues as the main reason. The fix is straightforward but incredibly effective. If you are tall, a bob that sits around chin length or grazes the shoulders tends to be the most flattering. This length helps balance your stature and creates a polished, elongated silhouette. If you are on the shorter side, keeping your bob above the chin or around mid-cheek can visually lengthen the legs and give the impression of added height. I am 5'2", and for a while, I wore my bob long enough to skim past my shoulders. In the mirror, it looked fine, but in photos, I seemed almost weighed down, and my legs looked shorter than they actually were. When I switched to a bob that sat just above my chin, the difference was striking. My friends commented that I looked more balanced and even a little taller. It was such a small change, but it completely shifted how my overall look came together. If you are not sure what length works best for you, stand in front of a mirror and look at the space between your chin and your collarbone. Imagine your bob ending at different points along that area. Does one spot make your neck look longer and your shoulders more proportionate? Or does another point cut you off in a way that feels heavy? Getting the length right is one of the easiest ways to make a bob work for you instead of against you. It is a detail many people overlook, but it can completely change the impression you give. And once you start fine-tuning details like this, you will be amazed at how even the smallest adjustments can refresh your entire style. Bonus tip: avoid over-curling the ends of your bob. For years, I was devoted to the perfectly tucked under bob. You know the look. Ends curled sharply under so that every strand sat in a perfect uniform curve. Back in the 90s, it felt chic, polished, and elegant. But here is the thing. As time went on, I started to notice that this style was not doing me any favors. Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like your hair was boxing in your face instead of framing it? When the ends of a bob are curled too tightly under, it creates a squared-off shape that can make your face and neck appear wider. This effect is even more noticeable in photos or bright daylight. According to a 2022 survey by the Professional Beauty Association, nearly 55% of women over 50 said that certain curl styles made them feel like their hair was closing off their face. This is because the sharp inward curve draws the eye down to the lower half of the face, highlighting areas such as the jawline or fullness under the chin. It also has a retro feel that can make your overall look seem dated. The fix is wonderfully simple. Instead of curling the ends tightly, start your bend from the mid-shaft of the hair and keep the ends softer. This technique creates gentle movement without forming that harsh, rounded edge. A large barrel curling iron or a blow-dry with a round brush works beautifully for this. According to celebrity hairstylist Gina Rivera, this approach allows light to flow through the hair, creating a more open and flattering frame for the face. I learned this lesson the day I switched from my signature hard curl to a looser, more relaxed style. I remember walking into a lunch with my friends, and one of them immediately said, "You look like you just came from a modern photo shoot." The difference was not just in how I looked, but how I felt. My face seemed brighter, my style more current, and I felt confident in a way that the old, tight curl never gave me. If you are still curling your bob the way you did decades ago, ask yourself, does this style make me look fresh, or is it holding me back in the past? Is it opening up my face, or is it closing it off? Changing the way you curl your bob is such a small adjustment, but it can have a major impact. It keeps your look modern, soft, and flattering, all while allowing your natural beauty to shine. And once you see how this little tweak changes everything, you might be ready to try another shift that could transform your style even more than you expect. Real client stories, transformations that changed everything. One of the most memorable clients I ever worked with was Linda, a 62-year-old retired teacher from Ohio. She came to me with a heavy, one-length bob that she had been wearing for nearly a decade. She admitted she kept it because it felt easy and safe, but she also confessed she was tired of people asking if she was feeling unwell. The haircut framed her face in a way that pulled her features down, making her look more tired than she actually was. We added soft internal layers, lightened the color to a warm honey brown, and shaped the ends to curve in gently. When she saw herself in the mirror, she gasped and said, "I feel like I got 10 years back." Her daughter's reaction? She told her mom she looked ready for a vacation photo shoot. Have you ever had that moment when a simple change made you feel like the best version of yourself again? Then there was Patricia, a 58-year-old accountant who wore a reverse bob because she had seen it on a celebrity years ago. Over time, the angle began to look severe, and her neck appeared shorter in pictures. She told me she dreaded seeing herself in family photos. We shifted her into a softly angled bob that followed her jawline, which instantly elongated her neck and softened her whole appearance. The next week, she emailed me a picture from a Sunday brunch with friends. She was glowing, and she wrote in the message, "I actually wanted to be in the photos for once." According to a 2021 American Salon survey, 67% of women over 50 report that they avoid being in pictures if they are unhappy with their hair. Changing Patricia's cut didn't just change her style, it changed how she participated in her own life. And I cannot forget Susan, a 55-year-old librarian who wore her bob flat in the front with no layering. She thought it would hide her fuller cheeks, but instead it made them more noticeable. We added face-framing layers starting at her cheekbones and blended them down toward her chin. She walked out of the salon and called her sister immediately, who later told me she sounded lighter over the phone, just from how excited she was. When she came back for a trim 6 weeks later, she told me she had started dating again after years of sitting on the sidelines. These are the kinds of transformations that remind me why small details matter so much. It is not just about the hair itself, but about how it makes you feel and how others respond to you. And as powerful as these changes are, there are still other small shifts you can make that can completely change the way your bob works for you. So after everything we have talked about today, there is one golden rule I want you to remember. A bob after 50 should have lift, movement, and softness. It should never feel heavy, stiff, or cut at sharp angles that pull your features down. The right bob should frame your face like a work of art, letting your eyes shine and your smile take center stage. Because beauty truly has no age. Your hair is the crown you wear every single day, and it should make you feel proud every time you catch your reflection. When you choose a style that moves with you, that works with your features instead of against them, you are not just choosing a haircut. You are choosing confidence, elegance, and a version of yourself that feels timeless. If today's video has given you ideas or inspired you to try something new, I would love for you to join our community. Click subscribe so you never miss another tip, and share this video with a friend, sister, or anyone who is thinking about getting a bob. You never know. Your share might be the push they need to feel more beautiful and confident in their own skin. And remember, the best time to love your reflection is right now. So go ahead and give yourself the gift of a hairstyle that makes you feel exactly as beautiful as you truly are.